What up? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the movie Reservoir Dogs. So Reservoir Dogs is a 1992 film. It's rated R and it's an hour and 39 minutes, directed by Quentin Tarantino. So this is a movie I've seen before. This movie was introduced to me by Frotizzle Reviews and introduced to this movie during the time we were watching the Django movie. I remember the fact of knowing that since he directed that movie, he also worked on this movie as well in his earlier career, and he also was acting in this movie. Quentin Tarantino, huge name, but it's just one of those things where I haven't caught up or know too much about him. Still, with the few projects I've seen from him in his directing role, the Django was one of them, and I absolutely love that movie, and I do gotta rewatch it. Also, I've seen the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's another rewatch movie that I have to see as well. It does have a uniqueness to storytelling. He's that person in the room that, you know, whenever he's to himself or he's writing something in a corner or something, that he's coming up with something that's very wild. Personality wise, I feel like his mind is just filled with ideas and filled with stories to tell. Really glad I was able to get this rewatch in and a little refresher of what the movie was about. Here and there did forget how many times he was in this movie. Very cool to see that this was one of his early work. The fact that it's early 90s, very young Quentin Tarantino. Rewatching this and seeing him in his acting role in this movie, you can definitely tell that he wanted to be involved in this project. He only has a few scenes. You appreciated the role he has. You also appreciate the fact that you're letting a lot of these other actors in this movie do their thing. A lot of the stuff in this movie, you could see that the vision was very high. You just didn't have the money for it. You just got to give props to him at this time as well to even come up with a movie like this. He's one of the criminals that is helping with this diamond heist. His acting in this movie, you could see that he is in the story. He is trying to show a character. Since I know he's the director and the writer, you could just see that, you know, give yourself some shine and just handle what you're really good at, which is the directing role. Straight up with his directing, this dude is someone you just cannot mess with. Straight boss, straight understands how to put out a really good story, understands how to use environment. A lot of the set design is kind of just passable and not really taking you to too many places besides getting to know these other characters. Understood the trickery and knew how to really make everyone look pretty good. There is errors in this movie. There is unrealistic stuff in here where you can kind of question after the scene is over, but the fact that the camera direction and the way he understands how to grab you with focus on these actors and focus on the idea of this movie does a really good job with just the bare minimum. A lot of the characters in this movie, since the budget was so low, they had to bring in their own clothes to help with this movie. I can only imagine if you had a higher budget, how a lot of the stuff that were unrealistic, like when three characters are looking at each other but two of them are against one, all of them go down. It's one of those things where you kind of question after the scene's over, like, how did everyone, you know, fall down from these gunshots? But a couple moments in this movie where you do notice the flaws, errors in here that you can point out and see, but you honestly applaud of what they had, and you can definitely tell that Quentin Tarantino is a huge fan in the movie world, has an imagination that runs wild. Table reading for this movie would have been phenomenal, just looking around everybody and being like, this is gonna be awesome to do. It's about a jewelry heist that goes wrong because one of the criminals in the group is a police informant, and everyone's figuring out how the police knew about this jewelry heist, what the movie is about, but you're not seeing the heist. You're basically joining the movie when the cops show up while they're doing this jewelry heist, and you're seeing all these actors go back and forth with each other trying to figure out how these cops knew. How I would explain this movie, it's an actor's movie and just having a phenomenal script. These actors in this movie were just making this adventure just more badass and more mafia style, crime style feel, and they all did great. If you haven't watched this movie, you're just gonna be really pulled in by a lot of these actors doing their thing on screen with one another. So many actors in here that you can explain their highs and their lows of being part of this jewelry heist, see kind of the stress and the suspense and all the crazy pressure that these criminals are dealing with. Do like how all these actors had really cool character names, 007 type of feel, but one of the main actors in here is Steve Buscemi, who plays Mr. Pink. Seeing him in a more serious role, seeing him more in this kind of mafia style lines, and seeing the way he's handling it with a lot of other people who are on just the same level as him, he was standing out the most. Another Another actor that was doing his thing as well was Harvey Keitel, who was Mr. White, and Tim Roth, who was playing Mr. Orange. Great actors to present this story. So straight an actor's movie to make this script such a banger. Buscemi many times in this movie as Mr. Pink was actually keeping me very interested, and I was very surprised that with a lot of the lines and the communication with a lot of the actors, I really liked how naturally it really felt like you were a part of that group about to do this heist. You don't see too many cops in this movie, which is an interesting point to the fact that the budget was so low. You don't see many cops in here. This movie didn't have to be so long to actually know what was going on. That's the smart mind of Quentin Tarantino, to actually work with what you got. Perfect example of it. I do like how the movie did have its time to get used to these characters and see what they're dealing with, who they are. Acting is going crazy. I do like how the movie ended. It did give me a vibe where you could have ended the movie many different ways, but while watching this movie, I'm like, wow, applaud just, you know, the choices for what they're doing in here. I thought it was all proper as well. Well put together. A lot of blood in this movie. There's definitely a lot of curse words in here, so watch out for that. Some pause lines as well. I think this movie is an all-time classic. This is a movie that I feel like you should recommend and introduce to people who haven't watched this movie. I really like how the poster looks too. I think it's super badass. Barely found out that this Reservoir Dogs movie had its own video game. Really hoping to start streaming some games. Would definitely love to buy the Reservoir Dogs video game and stream it, so hopefully we can get there. Watch Reservoir Dogs, all-time classic movie, great acting. You can definitely see with a lot of these actors that they understood how to put out a vibe, especially like a crime mafia vibe, and you appreciate a lot of the stuff that Quentin Tarantino was presenting at this time. After my watching the movie Reservoir Dogs out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 10 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie Reservoir Dogs. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.